Buongiorno, opossums, and grazie for joining us today. We're going to preview week 4, all of you, and give you our favorite players of the week, our awesome possums, if you will. It is wonderful to be back in the States after an excellent trip to Italy. Josh, Billy, you guys did awesome. So I am blessed, though, to be able to miss watching 2 of the 3 Bears games thus far. I kind of don't want to watch this week either, so I might have to go on vacation again. Anywho, we move on to week 4. But real quick, can we just spend a moment to reminisce the sloppy, wretched, unstomachable shit show that was week 3? I don't know. For this, I bring in the cohort, Josh, Billy. Let's discuss.
Yeah, man. The last 2 weeks have been injury-laden and upsetty. I don't know if that's an adjective, but it is today. So, yeah, not great weeks. But what are you gonna do? You prevail through, and you just try to hope that your guys aren't the ones that get injured.
Yeah, no kidding. I think the Bills finally broke the streak of like not double digit, but the biggest favorite of the week actually winning the week. I think the Bills finally put that to bed because the first 3 weeks it didn't happen. It did last week.
So I was so wrong about the Bills. So wrong. I just,
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like the theory I think we should go with is that Stephon Diggs was actually legitimately holding this offense back because Josh Allen gets it to all the different receivers. Like they drafted Keon Coleman. They don't even need him. They can just throw it to whoever's open. And that seems to be the best version of Josh Allen. It's the best version that's working for him, at least.
He literally in the post-game press conference, or maybe it was the next day, he literally said, it's nice to have people that aren't looking for the stat sheet and just here to play football. And that shows after throwing touchdown to 5 different people. And not to mention, it's great when everyone gets involved. I love seeing that like multiple people are getting involved and it's not, just the one guy or just the 2 guys. It's great to see football at what it can be with a good football team. And yeah, like Joe said, we were dead wrong about Josh Allen. Like I didn't realize he could prevail with no receivers, but he's making those receivers look good right now. So
yeah.
I was sitting there like they got 4 guys that do the same thing, including James Cook, who runs kind of those same routes. I was like, what are they going to do with this? And then, they're just going to interchange all of them. And it's a beautiful thing.
It is beautiful. Or the Jags just suck, but whatever. We'll get to that a little bit. All right, let's start. Let's just jump right into this week. Thursday Night Football is the Cowboys versus the Giants. 2 teams in literal hell, I feel like, both for different reasons. Joe, I'm going to let you talk about the Giants because you haven't gotten to wax poetic about wide receiver 1 overall right now, Malik Neighbors. So go ahead, Joe. What do you think about the Giants this week?
I mean, a 40% target share is pretty effing impressive. I don't know the last time I saw that. So big fan there. Devin Singletary is my awesome possum of the week. The Cowboys, I mean, the Ravens threw the ball, 12 times last week? They just, ran it all over the Cowboys, did whatever they wanted to do. So Devin Singletary, awesome. Fire him up. And Malik Neighbors, man, he has a tougher matchup this week. I'm not going to say he's going to get 2 touchdowns again, but 40% target share, there's no way you're sitting him. And don't start Daniel Jones. It's way too early in the season for that.
Yeah,
it's very easy to cover the Giants.
I will say I'll eat my words about Malik Neighbors, and it's not because of your reasoning, because your reasoning was Daniel Jones will be good because of him. No, Daniel Jones is still really bad, but he is throwing the ball.
No. Don't discount what I said. I said that Malik Neighbors was going to be good because he was going to get like 200 targets.
I'm not discounting what you said.
I just also happened to say Daniel Jones might also be good.
That part's untrue, but it's okay because you're right about the important part here, which is the thing I disagreed with you on the most. So on the other side of the ball, though, I mean, the Cowboys are still scoring points fantasy-wise and really in NFL-wise as well, but at the same time, they are not winning games. So Dak Prescott's good to go. He's going to throw the ball a lot. And then CeeDee Lamb, yes, off week last week, he'll be fine. You play him still. The rest of them, I mean, sure, if you want to put Jalen Tolbert in there, I mean, I wouldn't, but feel free to do it if you're waiting for that touchdown. Jake Ferguson is a top 5 tight end at the moment. I think when he's playing, you've got to put him in, especially with the tight end scape not looking great. And then, honestly, I think they really are actually realizing that it's Rico Dowdle time, averaging 4 yards per carry each game, 30 yards or so, 40 yards on 7 or 8 carries. I mean, he's doing a fine job for what he's getting. I would love to see the workload actually look like 15 to 20, but we'll see what happens. And in this game, the Giants defense is pretty bad too. So I think Dowdle's a sneaky flex play this week.
Are we
Yeah,
buying
no.
the Jalen Tolbert thing?
I'm not. I think it's going to be a different guy each week. It's going to be Turpin one week. It's going to be somebody else. Another week, Cooks, maybe if he comes back. But he's good.
I think if he had more than 3 catches this week, I'd be like, yeah, absolutely. But like 6 catches for 80 yards the week before and then 3 catches for 40 and a touchdown, without that touchdown, that is nothing. You're not enjoying it. So until you see 5 catches a game, I think it's just, it's a plug and play. It is what it is. Deep leagues, sure, absolutely fire them up. But I'm talking the regular redraft.
And it's Wan'Dale Robinson time on the Giants, by the way.
Yeah, he's actually sneakily having a great season while being overshadowed by Neighbors, and it's kind of nice because nobody thinks about him at all, and he's pretty much free in leagues right now. So
yeah, PPR leagues, he is a definite start. Non-PPR leagues, it's a little riskier, but a flex spot might not be the worst thing for him But if you're playing a non-PPR, like, come on.
I don't know about the words definite start, but I will say I love the stash at the moment and see what happens.
He's been playing good. PPR got 13 points last week. That's decent for him. 11 targets week before.
I always like to see the next week.
That's true. 3 weeks isn't
the
enough.
Giants pull this one
4 or
out.
5. Yes, I actually do. I don't think the Cowboys are very good at football right now, guys. I actually do think the Giants are going to win this game. Sadly, yeah.
I'm gonna unfortunately pick the Cowboys. The Cowboys win these games.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Giants just because vibes, but
vibes, man.
So the Giants right now would be 2-1 if they had a kicker on their team. They didn't have a kicker for week 2, so they lost against the Commanders, and they beat the Browns. I mean, the Cowboys are that better than?
Yeah, but the Browns might be one of the worst teams in the league.
Well, that's true. We'll get to that. All right. Well, I guess there we have it. All right. Steven on YouTube says, should I drop Kaiser White for Devin Lloyd or keep him? My linebackers are White, Al-Shaair, and EJ Speed. He also, Olakun is going to be out for a while with a foot injury, though. Which
I
haven't confirmed that he's going to be out, but I actually
say yes here. I like Kaiser White a lot, but I think Devin Lloyd, for one, already been doing good in his stead. Obviously, not a great week last week, but nobody had a good week last week on that defense. I don't think they made any tackles. With Olakun out, Lloyd has to soak up the tackles. And got a pretty decent schedule coming up of at least heavy run teams. I'd say Chicago in 3 weeks, but they don't know how to run the ball. We'll get to that too.
No, they're figuring it out. Kaiser had 11 tackles last week. Who's White? Is that Devin White?
Kaiser White for Devin Lloyd.
Oh, sorry. Kaiser White. Sorry.
Yeah.
Saw the 2 different things.
Kaiser.
I don't know. I would keep Kaiser, and then if you have space, Muma would be a good pickup later in this, maybe next week. I don't think I
feel like
Kaiser.
You have a really good. I was gonna say you have a really good linebacker staff, and if this is your biggest issue, I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I would just say that Muma is probably going to come in and take that role.
Okay, I mean, if you believe in the Muma,
I do, man. He showed it.
Sorry, didn't really help, Steven. Hopefully, you got a little bit of that at the very least. Sounds like we just disagree.
Really break the tie.
Me and Jeff, I think you should drop him and get Devin Lloyd. I think that's the play. I think he's going to be the tackle monster on that team now, and
he already has.
Just
been. You can't judge him for last week. That week looked ugly.
It was a bad week. All right, on to the next game on the slate. It is a gross one, the Broncos versus the Jets. I'll take the Broncos because it's pretty darn simple. There is no one that you can trust with certainty on this Broncos team. I'm sorry. I can see if you're in a super flex league, you've got to play Bo Nix because of just the potential he's going to fall into the end zone. But I don't trust Tyler Beatty. He's playing a good run defense this week. This weekend's not the time to stop him. Cortland Sutton looked actually pretty good last week, but now he's going to be matched up against Sauce Gardner. So I am going to stay away from all Denver-related fantasy football players this week.
I just want to add something to this. Is I am not saying I agree with you 100%. I will say that so far, 3 different weeks in a row, it was Vele week 1, it was Dolcic week 2, and then it was Lil Jordan Humphrey week 3, and they're all playing that little short slot like catch screen pass game, and they get 8-9 targets a game. So I will say, if you're ever in a pinch and there's a Denver wide receiver out there, and you really don't have any better options, and you're getting 3 points, you got a guy who might go out there and get 14, and not to mention break one if there ever is, because those are all pretty speedy guys other than Dolcic, which, tight end. So once again, starting up too. Like I just feel like they're really good fill-in positions, but like, yeah, let's see it come to fruition first.
Yeah. Are we gonna give any like love to the Nathaniel Hackett revenge game?
I mean,
I guess that's true.
shouldn't we?
Probably.
That's
I don't know.
Good point.
I mean, for the Jets, man, the Broncos defense is really tough. They are susceptible to the run. So, I mean, obviously you're playing Brees. Braylon Allen's really coming along. I think he could be, a flex guy for you. I'm worried about Wilson and I'm worried about Conklin this week. I just don't think this game is going to be very conducive to fantasy. I think it's going to be pretty slow paced. So, I mean, you're starting those guys. I don't know about Conklin, but I would say Brees and Wilson. And if you're really in a pinch, you can start Braylon Allen because he just continues to.
It's going to be Lazard again,
limit
too, by the way.
I was gonna say I
Yeah.
can't. I don't want to say it, but like you can play Lazard. Like I don't condone it, but like, and I won't do it. But like,
If you're looking for a
absolutely.
Wan'Dale Robinson game, play Lazard this week.
Pat Surtain is going to hug Garrett Wilson the entire game. So Garrett Wilson, the Garrett Wilson truthers out there, we're on to week 5, boys.
Yeah, I was gonna say skipping
on to
skipping
week
this
5. Pat
as a Garrett
Surtain
Wilson
is not going to let Garrett Wilson catch more than like 2 passes. So just time to move on. It's not going to happen this week.
The thing is
yeah.
he might get a touchdown for sure. But like looking at his stat line from last week is more likely like 5 catches for 30 yards, maybe a touchdown. I mean,
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers said it. They're looking to take out Garrett Wilson, and he's just going to take whatever else they give him.
yeah.
If it works, it works. I mean, might as well, right? There's no sense. Garrett Wilson's not going to make a big stink about it. So, yeah, sure, go for it.
Jets win this game.
Jets win this game.
But I think this is a close game all around.
I think it's going to be like a 13-10 game, personally. So I'll go Jets just because they have Zerline. But
Probably. I just feel like Aaron Rodgers puts these little quarterbacks like Bo Nix on notice with games like these. Just what I feel. He likes making these guys feel small after these kind of games. So yeah, there we go. All right, on to the next game. Vikings Packers, maybe the game of the week, and they put it during the 12 o'clock window. So we're definitely entering the twilight zone. Josh, what do you feel about the Vikings this week?
I have feelings. Right now, they're putting up points, so you pretty much have to play them all, which is not a bad problem here. Sam Darnold is the best quarterback in the league right now, on paper at the very least. So I think you start him against Green Bay. Green Bay's defense is tough, but whether or not they're losing or winning, they have to score points to win this game. And Sam Darnold has been scoring points, so. Yes, you can start Sam Darnold this week, especially if you have one of those, Richardsons or Tuas or, underperforming other quarterbacks. Aaron Jones, I do want to say, is actually the real deal. I know everyone bought the Chandler stock last week or week 2 after, they say a down week for Aaron Jones. He still had 10 points in PPR, like 100 yards, 30 yards against San Francisco's defense going up against Green Bay. He's going to be heavily featured. You're going to get touches. Chandler flex play if you need be, but personally, I would just not do that. And then weirdly, it's Jalen Naylor still hanging around getting touchdowns. Some dude spent $100 free agent bucks on Naylor, and it didn't look bad last week. But the real star of the show is Justin Jefferson. That's the wide receiver you start. I don't personally think you start any of these other guys. Addison will be fun when he gets back, but for the moment, it's Jefferson, Aaron Jones, and Sam Darnold.
Yeah, no, don't have any qualms with that. That sounds right to me.
I don't have any
Joe?
qualms either.
Packers, what do you feel?
Packers side. So LaFleur gave us an excellent update on Jordan Love today, and it was nothing. So we don't know if Jordan Love is going to play in this game. So I'm going to go through this like he's not going to play. So Malik Willis, looks pretty solid. I don't know how you can turn him into Dante Culpepper back there after the way he looked with the Titans, but go Malik Willis. I'm not starting him. You can start him if you're in a super flex if you want to. Josh Jacobs is not the workhorse we assumed he was going to be, but I think you have to start him.
What are you talking about?
What?
He has 60 carries.
Yeah, but
he's not the workhorse.
He's not getting all of the stuff
He's Rashad Whiting it, which is not great.
With the math that we were discussing on Josh Jacobs, it's not quite mathing at this point. It's still pretty good.
I don't know what you're talking about. I think this is exactly what I expected from Josh Jacobs.
Okay, well, I'm covering the Packers right now, so we'll get to
it. Sorry.
Jaden Reed, looks pretty solid. I just don't know who you go with in this offense. I really don't. If Jordan Love plays, you're firing up Jaden Reed. You're probably going to play Christian Watson if you need a deep flex. Josh Jacobs is on the table. I don't know what Malik Willis is going to do. For all I know, he's probably just going to run it the whole game. So, I don't know.
Josh Jacobs will get 20 carries. You play him. Both Reed and Watson are if you want to, it's great when Love comes back. But right now it's cool to see Reed get involved last week, though. I really was thinking it was nothing at this point with Willis until Love got back. But he's still a part of their game plan, which is nice to see.
Yeah. I don't know who you trust with Malik Willis, and the Vikings defense is very tough. So
just so everyone out there knows, Josh expected Josh Jacobs to be the RB28 and for Emmanuel Wilson on the same team to be RB33. So that's what he expected this offense to look like.
Obviously it'd be nice to see him get touchdowns, but he has 60 carries for almost 300 yards. And after 3 games, he's looking like
it is not even an RB2. So, that sucks, right?
Week 3, guys. Are we overreacting to everything at this point?
God, Jesus Christ. It's week 4.
No, we're not overreacting. I just don't know what this offense is with Malik Willis. I expected him to be complete trash, and then he comes in and he looks halfway Lamar Jackson-esque. And so I don't know what to do with the Packers offense.
This is just the weird time where I don't have hate for the Packers, and you guys do, which they're, having a pretty good season.
How's it hate for the Packers? I'm excited as an Emmanuel Wilson guy on a couple of dynasty teams. I'm like, hell yeah, I can throw him in the flex spot and actually get some points from it. It's very exciting. It's an exciting time to be a Packers guy. But yeah, with Malik Willis, this offense just doesn't look the same. So we'll see how it goes in the future, though. I think the Vikings are going to win.
I'm going to go Packers because they don't seem to ever lose.
No, this is where the Vikings end up taking the L.
Okay. I believe in their defense. I don't know. I guess I'm a sucker in that way.
No, Flores has them playing good, man. It's impressive.
For sure. Okay. Saints versus the Falcons. Saints crashed back down to earth like a meteor after I guess a meteor is a good thing, but nothing meteoric about what happened last week against the Eagles. I do think they will be a little bit better on offense this week than they were last week. I think last week, they went up against the defense they didn't have a chance against. Alvin Kamara is really banged up right now. I don't think that's actually going to matter come game time, but it is something to monitor. I think he had a chest and some leg injury that he was nursing today and did not practice. But it is Wednesday when we're recording this, and that's usually the day the veterans take off. So just heed the warning on that one. It was nice to see Chris Olave come back and actually play some football. That was cool. Rashid Shaheed was completely locked out. So if you were one of the people like me that was like, I need a flex guy this week, let me throw him in there just to get a couple of points. Well, hell no, that wasn't even going to happen. He didn't even get a couple of points. But I do think this week there's a better opportunity for him to get more involved in the game against the Falcons. And then Derek Carr, while I still don't trust it, I'm not even going to say it. I'm not going to start Derek Carr. It's Kamara, it's Olave, and it's Rashid Shaheed in a flex capacity only.
Yeah, 100%. It'd be cool
to get really close last week to having a fairly good game a couple times.
But it's just the problem with Rashid Shaheed is if he doesn't catch the ball, he is not going to get targeted enough to make it matter. So if he misses one or, they break up the pass, you're shit out of luck with 0 points on your team. I found that out. That was me.
Well, on the other side, the Falcons, who also just played the Eagles and got the win, actually, should have gotten the win in Kansas City, but the refs once again win it for the Kansas City Chiefs. I will say the Chiefs' one actual game plan, other than wanting the refs to help them, was stop Bijan Robinson, and they did a great job of that. 31 yards, a yard and 9/10 of average. It was not great for Bijan. Did fall into the end zone, so the fantasy day was still there. You are always starting Bijan. It doesn't matter if people focus on it. He's still going to do his thing. Algier, very limited flex capacity if you need to. Cousins is definitely sittable. I hope you're not starting him. And then London is serviceable for sure, but so is Mooney. And honestly, Pitts is just not getting the targets, unfortunately. The plays are there, but the targets aren't, which is super weird because when he does touch the ball, he seems to do some really cool stuff with it. But yeah, at the moment, you can sit Kyle Pitts, but I feel like the week you do that, it's the Taysom Hill experience where you'll get the breakout. And honestly, like 7 points isn't the worst thing out of a tight end at this point. So Ray McLeod's fun, but I don't think that that's going to be a consistent start by any means. I think Mooney's flex, London wide receiver 2, and then Bijan is an RB1 at all times.
Yeah, for sure. And Pitts does have a really good matchup this week. We saw what Goddard did to him last week, so I don't know. You're right. I think this could be a good Pitts game. I don't know if you can trust him at this point, though. This game is just two very tough defenses and two very mediocre offenses. So I don't, it's just going to be another one of those slow-paced games.
I'm going to say something. I'm going to say something quietly right now that I'm not going to say too loud because I don't want a lot of people to hear. But Bijan Robinson might just be average. Like he's good, but I don't know if he's a transcendent.
You said that pretty loud for saying it.
Yeah,
quiet.
You definitely did not whisper it. And also, the trouble you gave me for saying Garrett Wilson was a reach at first round pick, and to say Bijan, who's been playing his ass off, is just wild to me. But I will strongly disagree with you. And the folks at Offensive Points do not condone this kind of fuckery.
Playing his ass off seems like a bit of a stretch after last week. Don't know if that was playing his ass off to me, but.
I think last week the Chiefs are just very good against the run.
No, he was schemed. It was schemed to shut
down
getting,
Bijan. 85% of the carries.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like he's a good running back, but he can be schemed against. I mean, he's not Derrick Henry. Like Derrick Henry, you can scheme against him, he's gonna beat your ass either way. Like
I mean, did Derrick Henry not get schemed against in the first week, or did that not? I mean, the Chiefs also.
So Derrick Henry is 31 years old. Bijan Robinson is 23 years old. Those should not be comparable guys right now at their stages in their career. Josh, Derrick Henry at 23 was beating everybody's ass. No, that's 100% what's happening.
Just to say that like a number one running back should get 25 at every point. Not everyone is Christian McCaffrey. It's not going to happen. Like even Saquon's going to have a bad game.
Again, he's a good running back. He's average. That's okay. Not everybody can be one of the top.
God, you're going to get those words so hard. I do not agree with you at all. Let's move on.
You think he's eventually gonna be Derrick Henry or Christian McCaffrey? I don't.
Falcons win.
Falcons win. I'm not having this conversation. This is ridiculous.
Said it quietly. Fantasy Sports on YouTube said, "Who is the RB to own in Chicago?" And it's Roschon Johnson.
The answer is nobody, actually. I want to go ahead and answer that question for you.
Joe?
I like Roschon, man. He looked very effective. I would say as of right now, they're just trying to get someone going, and Roschon's the guy at this point. It could be Khalil Herbert at the end of the year. So I don't know. And
it's a three-headed monster all over it.
Not it. This whole offense has a lot of problems, though.
The problem with DeAndre Swift is he needs a O-line to block for him. Not a good one. He just needs a O-line to block for him, and that's just not happening. So, not going to be the guy to own there because he's not built like you're supposed to be if you don't have an O-line, unfortunately. But, yeah, Roschon's my answer for that. All right, on to the next game, the 12 o'clock window. We have Eagles, Buccaneers. Joe, talk to us about some Bucs.
So Chris Godwin is pretty handily winning the target competition for the Bucs. I'm going off of vibes and math this week. This is going to be a big Mike Evans week. He gets it back on track on here. I know Quinyon Mitchell has been pretty solid. Got lucky a few times against Shaheed. It was kind of a mix-up, but give me Evans.
Got lucky.
Oh, yeah. Evans is gonna show the rookies some love this week. So I love Mike Evans this week. I love Godwin. I mean, Godwin's like the wide receiver 1 right now. You can't not play him at this point. And the running backs, I'm not starting the running backs this week unless I absolutely have to. Rashad White, yeah, he's good at catching a ball. I don't know. And then Bucky Irving just popped up with a hamstring injury. So I don't know what the hell that's all about. I'm just avoiding it completely. But I think Baker, Godwin, and Evans have a really good game this coming up here. And Cade Otton, I don't trust him. I know, Josh, you love him, but there's no way he's going near my line.
No, honestly, after the first 2 weeks, it was nothing. Last week was cool to see him break out. Honestly, I love to see that Bucky Irving's already in the tabloids getting his name made for him. But yeah, I think we're a week away, especially with that hamstring injury. I actually just want to put a temper here because the Bucs have been struggling, or at least did last week. And the Saints, who were doing really good, are also struggling against the Eagles defense. So there is a chance that we actually shut down the game and play defense. But there's also the chance. Okay. Well, all right, man.
I'm just talking shit, Josh.
Yeah, I mean,
you got a good defense.
The Eagles defense is one of those things that people just assume are bad because we've had bad weeks, but I don't think the end is in sight for that defense, and they're new and looking to do some stuff. Anyway, so there's not a whole lot of Eagles you're going to start this week. It's Jalen Hurts, it's Saquon Barkley, and it's Dallas Goedert. Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, you already know to play them if they play, but they are probably not going to because it's a week 5 bye coming up. So they are probably going to both sit, and it's going to be a mixture of crapshoot on wide receivers. If you want to throw one in there, sure, feel free. John Ross, Jahan Dotson, Johnny Wilson, Paris Campbell, that's not for me personally. So, but some of them will get yards for sure. I'm not going to tell you that it's a good play in any fantasy format. So Saquon should have a good game. Jalen Hurts should have a good game. Probably see a lot more of what we saw week 2 against the Falcons, like a running back Jalen Hurts game. So should get some rushing yards and get into that end zone.
Buccaneers are giving up 8 catches a game to running backs. If you're playing daily, I don't care what it costs. Put Saquon in your lineup. He's an awesome possum for sure. And I'm selling out my whole salary cap to get Saquon in the lineup this week.
He's the last star left on the team at the moment, other than apparently Dallas Goedert in the making.
Do you trust Goddard this week?
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so fun fact about this is when Devontae Smith is, or Devontae Adams, Devontae Smith.
Yeah, go for it.
Smith is out. Dallas Goedert has a good game. When Dallas Goedert is out, Devontae Smith has a good game. I guess they just play that same slot middle area of the field. So yes, Dallas Goedert was already having a good game before Smith got his concussion. So honestly, yeah, you're starting Goddard this week, no matter what, because we saw what, even if this wasn't true and I just made that up, which I didn't. Dallas Goedert, like you saw what he did last week, 10 catches for 170 yards. Like you
got to start him. Do you trust him?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Because Hurts does, and that's one of the last remaining starting lineup people that he's grown bonds with. I mean, he's been with him his whole career so far. So
yeah.
I think Philly wins by a field goal.
Yeah, I think the Bucs win for sure.
I can't wait for the morning shows on Sunday and Monday to be like, you know who sucks? Jalen Hurts. He needs his wide receiver 1 and his wide receiver 2 to be good at the football game.
Someone's going to say it for sure.
That's crazy. It's crazy that he needs all these weapons just to be good. I can't wait because they are already saying it now. And now if he didn't have both,
he needs to step up with guys who've never caught a pass from him.
Exactly. What is he doing with these guys who's never played before? He can't elevate those guys? Yeah.
If he doesn't make John Ross a thing that nobody can, and maybe Jalen Hurts just isn't good.
Exactly. All right, on to the Bengals versus the Panthers. It is the Andy Dalton revenge game for the ages. I'll take the Panthers. Andy Dalton, I like him. He's back. I can't wait to see him play each week. He went out there and had a 300-yard passing game. Could be that Bryce Young was the problem. In fact, that's kind of strange to come across, but that is kind of the prevailing theory after watching what Andy Dalton was able to do in 1 week with the same team. Andy Dalton's a start. Chuba Hubbard looked like his old self again. That was exciting. Miles Sanders did get the touchdown, but, I mean, who's believing in Miles Sanders anyway? Receiving-wise, Deontay Johnson. Holy shit, he's a Panther? Who the hell knew that? I didn't even know he was on this team. So Deontay Johnson's the start now that Andy Dalton is in there. And then after that, I'm out. Adam Thielen's going to be out for this game. He's on IR. Xavier Legette seems to have caught the disease called the Jonathan Mingos. And so he's kind of playing exactly like Jonathan Mingo did. It's kind of strange. They look identical, which is just scary. But their play styles are very similar. So, yeah, Chuba Hubbard, Andy Dalton, Deontay Johnson. Let's get on to week 5.
The good news about this whole game is just it's going to be high scoring all around because both defenses are pretty bad.
Would it shock you if the Panthers just imploded?
Aren't they already?
Well, I meant just like reverted back to like, I know, just reverted back to like Bryce Young.
Not against the Bengals because the Bengals are already a dying star on the other side of the field. So I don't think you can have two of them imploding at the same time.
Well, actually, the thing about the Bengals is the offense is fine. The defense is awful. Like, he scored 33 points last week. I mean, he just got beat by Jaden Daniels, and it wasn't his fault. I mean, what's Joe Burrow going to do about that? Get on both sides of the ball? I mean, it'd be cool. Anyway, Joe, what about the Bengals, man?
The Bengals start everybody. The Panthers are, bottom of the league in every statistical category on defense. So, I mean, Zach Moss is your running back. He's awesome. Mike Gesicki is a great matchup. I do think Joe Burrow was looking for T. Higgins last week a lot, and I think they get on the same page, if not this week, the next week. I think we see T. Higgins start to come on. So he's a good buy low candidate, but you're starting Chase. I think Higgins can be used in the flex because they looked for him on the touchdown. They looked for him on the 2-point conversion, and they just weren't on the same page there. And then Yoshi, I mean, is playing the Tyler Boyd role. So, like, nothing in this offense essentially has changed other than Mike Gesicki is a usable piece with the barren tight end landscape at this point. So I would say you start everybody.
Even Eric Hall got involved. But, yeah, Yoshi's great.
Love that guy. Panthers win.
Bengals finally get their first dub. It'll be a good game, though.
I'm going to go Bengals too, but I like the Panthers love. Respect.
Andy Dalton revenge game. Well, Joe, you need him to lose the Panthers. So, I mean, more losses for him, the better.
I need a high second-round pick, damn it.
For sure. All right, Elliot Patterson on YouTube, before we get to the next game, said, are you starting Sam Darnold or Andy Dalton? I'm starting Dalton, personally.
Yeah, I think I got to lean towards Dalton, actually, just because of the Panthers' defense. I mean, I think, honestly, coin flip for sure, because Darnold could easily do it as well, but I just feel like Dalton technically has the better matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this game is going to be higher scoring than the Packers-Vikings. I think that's just going to be a divisional nonsense game. So I would go Dalton, but you couldn't go wrong with either one, I would say. Flip a coin there.
Both probably good starts. Dalton just has the better matchup this week. But please come back next week when Dalton has 4 interceptions and Darnold throws for 400 yards. Please come back.
I could see Darnold imploding further or faster than Dalton would, though, because come down to earth moment, Dalton,
I just can't believe in week 4 we're having a start Darnold or Dalton discussion. I mean, who the hell
is it Superflex?
Dude, good for them. Good for them, honestly.
I agree, but Jesus, I can't believe that's where we're at in life right now. Okay.
Yeah, I used to think that we had a lot of quarterbacks and a lot of tight ends, but then I realized we have a lot of quarterbacks and tight ends that are supposed to be good. Doesn't mean they're going to be.
Yeah, exactly. Well, speaking of that, on to the Jaguars versus the Texans. Joe, what in the hell is wrong with Trevor Lawrence?
I don't know, man. Peterson's got to go. His head's going to be on the pike because everything is broken with this offense right now. I mean, Trevor Lawrence does not look good. They're not getting Etienne going. I mean, Tank Bigsby looks more effective than Etienne at this point. Christian Kirk, who you paid an ungodly, actually reset the wide receiver market with, is not performing. You got Gabe Davis, and then, Brian Thomas, your rookie, is leading this team in targets and receiving yards. So I don't really know where this goes. I mean, Evan Ingram coming back, I think, will help this offense a lot. He's kind of the binky of Trevor Lawrence there. So if he's healthy and he actually plays this week, I know the hamstrings can be tricky, then I think brighter days are ahead for this offense. But as of right now, I don't really know. I would say these guys are buy low. pretty much everybody at this point, but I wouldn't expect a whole lot from her. You're starting Etienne. I mean, I'm sorry. You have to start Etienne.
Yeah.
I think Etienne's the only shining spot on this team, unfortunately. We saw the Tank Bigsby week 1. We're like, oh, wow, he's finally going to do something? No, not really. It's Etienne, and then it's nobody else, sadly, which just there's some great players rotting on this team. On the other side, Texans, do not panic. Bad game. It happens. CJ Stroud, still good to go. I don't know who thought to play Cam Akers like that was a good thing. Sure, you got your touchdown, but that was literally just about it. Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, both good to go. Tank Dell's still the odd man out, but still a flex consideration. I mean, don't be mad about it. I think Mixon's going to miss this game again, so we're probably going to get Cam Akers. If you want to, sure, but don't get cute about it and try to stuff him over someone that might have a bad matchup that's way better, because could be really bad as well. So yeah, pretty obvious. Oh, and then Dalton Schultz, once again, this was a bad game. Obviously, he's been kind of slow to get off the ball, which is fair because he has a bunch of great wide receivers around him now. So this was always going to happen with Schultz, but still, low-end tight end play.
For sure. We're blaming Stephon Diggs for leaving Buffalo. Maybe it was Gabe Davis. Maybe he's the one and just destruction follows him wherever he goes. Maybe that's the reason that the Jaguars are imploding.
Fair point.
It wasn't Stephon Diggs. It was the other guy that left.
We need to write an article about this and get it published.
Yeah. It wasn't Stephon Diggs' fault.
Get him to a shaman or something. Sage, smudge, Gabe Davis. Get all the evil juju spirits away.
I think the Texans win, but I really hope they actually show something this week because they're starting to make me nervous.
Yeah, the Texans win, and I'm not nervous about them. I mean, you didn't pick them, right?
I did pick them.
You did pick them. Okay, I'm nervous about it just because Billy said that there's team and Billy curses team. So
there's impending doom. I'm like one of the trumpets of the apocalypse. All right, on to the Steelers versus the Colts. I'll start out with the Colts. Anthony Richardson scares the hell out of me, but you can't sit him. That's the worst part. You were literally stuck with like a disease, and because you just know the moment you sit him, he's going to run in for 2. He's going to throw like a long bomb to somebody on the team. Like you just know it's going to happen. So you got to start him, unfortunately, and I hate that for you because you're stuck with this the whole season. Jonathan Taylor, obviously, he's good to go. No worries there at all. Alec Pierce, I still think is good for a flex spot just because he seems to be the only guy that can catch these consistently from him. Michael Pittman is scaring the hell out of me. They need to figure their connection out quickly because they paid Michael Pittman a lot of money, and that money's not showing anything. But they're going against the Steelers defense this week, and Joey Porter is going to blanket Michael Pittman like a glove. So you're probably not going to get anything out of him this weekend either. So on this team, I think it's Anthony Richardson, unfortunately, and Jonathan Taylor.
Please don't start Anthony Richardson this week. I mean, sure, if you need to and you have nothing better, I'd rather
start his place though that you have.
Didn't we just have the start-sit question of Darnold or Dalton? That's when I start having those conversations. Yeah, well, hopefully if you had Anthony Richardson, you should have been trying to go get him. I will say the problem with this team is we're not seeing enough actual throws. We're seeing run, deep ball, deep shot, and then so it's like 10 catches for 17 attempts. Why are we throwing the ball 17 times? That's my problem because the run game's not working either, obviously. So therefore the pass game needs to work, and there's no consistency with this deep shot ball game they're doing. So
this is going to be a Josh Downs low yardage, high catch game, I feel like, but I mean, honestly, you start Taylor. The Steelers have only given up 60 yards and 0 touchdowns to running backs.
You got to play Taylor. You can't sit Taylor.
You're playing Taylor, but I mean, this is not a get-right game for the Colts. So I don't think this is where you're like, Pittman will get it going. Richardson will get it going.
This should be Pittman's game.
I didn't say any of those words, by the way. I said you're stuck with with Richardson because you're stuck with a disease, and then Taylor's been over 100 yards the last 2 weeks. You can't sit him. So yeah,
you never said.
I wasn't putting words in your mouth. I was saying.
Okay. I'm just y'all were shaking your head the whole time I was talking. I'm like, I'm not saying I'm happy.
I shook your head when you said you have to start Anthony Richardson.
I shook my head with the Alec Pierce call.
I just think that he's like the leading receiver on the team. Who else would you trust if they're throwing the ball?
Cincinnati
throwing
legend.
The ball. It's going Alec Pierce.
Alec Pierce.
I don't think they throw the ball enough to start any of the receivers, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Fair enough. What do you want me to do? I'm the quarterback throwing the ball.
Joe, you
You
want to talk
buy
about
low on Pittman.
I wouldn't, unless they
How
have
long?
another quarterback coming in.
I'm going to send some trades out tonight.
Unless
Kinda
Joe
like-
Flacco starts.
I think it's a buy low on Pittman, personally.
What'd you
Anyway,
say?
I'll talk about the
Unless
Steelers
Joe
since nobody
Flacco
wants to.
starts.
Hey, they might do it, man.
Justin
Would you be
Fields.
shocked to see
Justin
Flacco
Fields.
start?
Justin Fields is currently
Justin Fields,
better than Caleb Williams. His JF2 day, because there's no one anymore. We did talk about how he's going to be number 3 on the next team he's on, but currently it doesn't look like he's going anywhere. Getting better, throwing the ball a little bit more. Rush yards are, lower, not trying to run as much, tried to actually play real football last week, which was really cool to see. Najee, literally the most consistent running back in the league right now. Sure, it's not phenomenal, but 70 yards every game. Not going to complain about that. Was weirdly wearing a sling yesterday, and everybody panicked. And yeah, he's not on the injury report right now, so he's good. Jalen Warren does have a knee thing. Well, that's something to monitor because maybe Cordero Patterson could be relevant, which is just ugly for all of us. But here he is again, rears his nose. And Pickens, to me, only pass catcher that can play at the moment. Calvin Austin, sure, that's super intriguing. Pat Freiermuth, would love to see it. Just don't think it's going to happen.
It's not gonna happen.
By the way,
Justin
don't start
Fields.
Justin Fields. Do not start Justin Fields.
Billy,
Don't take the
Billy,
actual
Justin
advice.
Fields is an awesome
Crazy.
possum of the week, sir.
Okay, well, he hasn't cracked the top 10 quarterback week yet. So
Okay,
I
all
don't
right,
know
here we
why
have
we're-
the Colts
he's
defense
awesome
is terrible. Absolutely terrible. You got Najee and Warren banged up. This is going to be his best rushing performance of the year so far. Guarantee you he scores a rushing touchdown. And then Pickens has an outrageously good matchup, especially with Kenny Moore getting beat up last week by DJ Moore. Kind of a random thing. I think this is a Justin Fields
Okay.
blow up.
The cool thing about Justin Fields is he's really good at fantasy football. And right now he's playing really good real football. So if they're ever in a scenario, which I don't envision at this game, or if they're ever in a scenario where he needs to play, he's ready, which is cool to see. Yes, Justin Fields can start. I'm not saying start him as your best player, you know what I mean, over Patrick Mahomes or something. I'm just saying you can start Justin Fields if you need to.
Fair enough. I wouldn't, but yeah, I get you. If he's your only
Awesome
option.
possum.
Awesome.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, if you need a low floor quarterback, you got Justin Fields right there for you. The Steelers win this game for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I believe so. I can't say without a doubt.
I will.
It's hard to see it because you're like, how in the world can the Steelers keep doing this? But their defense is just so good. I don't know what else to say other than that. Okay, on to the next game. We have the Rams versus the Bears. Joe, talk about your 363-yard throwing quarterback, Caleb Williams.
Hey, Justin Fields, the most he ever threw for is 335. So we're already seeing progress.
Well, the cool thing is Justin Fields gets to play the same defense next week, so he could do it very well.
Yeah, pretty odd. I don't know, guys. So DJ Moore, it's like I'm comfortable starting him. Not overly ecstatic about it. I kind of want to play the wait and see approach on Rome. Caleb threw the ball 52 times. I want to wait and see on Kmet. The good thing is he seems to have taken over Everett, so he's playing most of the snaps. And then we got Keenan Allen's heel, which remains an issue. I assume he misses this week. So if Keenan Allen does miss this week, I'm comfortable starting Cole Kmet. The tight end landscape is very barren, so you might be starting him even if Keenan Allen plays. Wouldn't be the worst call. And then I do think we're kind of seeing a changing of the guard here with Rome taking over as the number one wide receiver. But I'm waiting on that. I still think DJ is the guy that you're starting. Again, don't be over ecstatic about it, but I want to wait a week and see what this offense does. And you're not starting. I know you picked up Roshan. I think if you're in a very deep league, you could try to start Roshan. This isn't the week to do it. I got to see more. The Rams have been getting pretty beat up by running backs, though. So
The Bears haven't ran yet, so that's my problem with starting a Bears running back and picking the right one.
That's my whole thing.
Yeah,
that's true. All right, on to the Rams. Matthew Stafford, a little sketchy because he's running out of people to throw to on the field right now. I don't hate starting him, but it's a very sketchy proposition. I'm sure you've got a better guy out there, unless it's Anthony Richardson, which in that case you're definitely going to start Matthew Stafford. Kyron Williams seems unfazed. I like him. Good to go. He's the only one I feel great about. Tutu Atwell had a really good game last week. This would be a good opportunity to see what he can do against this Bears secondary. Bears sneakily have a pretty decent defense, so I think all of these lesser wide receivers are going to have a bit of a test in front of them. But other than Tutu Atwell, I don't really feel like you've got many good options on this football team right now. So Kyron's really the only one I feel super good about starting.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what the Bears look like when Keenan Allen comes back. Because is this the new duo? Is this a trio? Like, can it be better? Like, I would love to see it like all fully healthy because I feel like since week 1 we haven't gotten it.
True.
It'll be fun to see how this team. Billy and I on our last show talked about how it was Caleb kind of had a light bulb over his head moment at the end of that Colts game where it kind of looked like he settled in a little bit. And so should be smoother sailing in the future, but it's still.
I think when he's not forcing it to DJ Moore or Keenan Allen, like when he's not forcing it to them because that's what the play call said to do, he actually feels more comfortable, and it looks like he's actually like, I'm going to find the best option. Oh, there's Rome. I know him. Like, let me throw him the ball. Or, hey, there's Komet coming over the middle. Let's. That's an easy pass. I can make that. Felt like he kind of like saw it a little bit better towards the end of the game, but it is the Colts, so it's hard to tell if that was real or not.
This is the first time he didn't have a giant pass rush bearing down on him as well, so that definitely helped.
Yeah, for sure. I actually think the Bears win, Joe. I think I'm back in.
I think they
bought back in.
Yeah, I'm in.
This is just an ugly game.
I never was out, but I mean, I'm in on them winning this week.
I honestly like if Cup or Puka was there, I'd say they lose. But I think that their pass defense is really good, and to shut down Atwell and Brian Robinson and Whittington, I think that's very much easy for them.
The problem is, can we shut down Kyron? That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, but task the whole week.
I was going to say that's literally the only thing they need to do to win the game.
So I just down one player, you're good.
Do it. I don't know if we can do it.
That's fair. I mean,
if Kyron goes for 150, you lose. How about that?
I mean, we're giving up 96 yards a game to running backs, 5 receptions. I mean,
that's not great, but that's not the worst thing that's out there.
But I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
You'll be fine, Joe. They're going to win. Bear down. All right, on to the late window. We have what I honestly think is probably one of the best games of the weekend. Secretly, kind of came out of nowhere. Commanders versus the Cardinals. Josh, Cardinals action. What are we thinking?
Oh, dude, fire them up, man. So James Conner had a really bad week last week. We're all aware. That's going to happen, man. I'm sorry. That's the James Conner you live and die by. Also, Lions rush defense, really great. Connor still good to go. Kyler always going to be good to go with this weapons. You're going to have off weeks too, but the good news is you're always pretty much getting 50 yards rushing on the ground, so that kind of makes up for it. So the floor is super low or super normal high, I guess. And then obviously can break out at any given moment. Marvin Harrison looks great. Michael Wilson is the fill-in for Trey McBride, which is super interesting. So after McBride went out, Michael Wilson kind of took over that role. So Michael Wilson is a flex play this week, 100% if Trey McBride's out. And then Dortch, super fun while it lasted. I think this is going to be a little bit inconsistent, but I think you can put him in if you need to. Kind of a little, let's hope so. Let's hope we get 8-9 catches. But it did look like Michael Wilson stepped in that Trey McBride role. So McBride, Harrison, Connor, Kyler Murray, that's pretty much all I got for you. And of course, if McBride plays, you play him. Sorry, I don't think I need to say that.
Do you play Elijah Higgins if McBride doesn't play?
Nah.
I'm kind of tempted to.
Don't trust
one target, and he got injured like in the second quarter. So he got one target in like half a game of football. So no, not yet. I'm sure deep leagues, but like other than that, no.
I think if McBride sits, I'm going to play Higgins in DFS. It's pretty much.
DFS for sure, but in your like actual lineup, please don't do that.
Yeah, for sure. Joe, how you feeling about the Commanders?
Well, you start everyone that's playing. I mean, you start Jaden Daniels after last week. Absolutely historic performance. McLaurin finally got going. It was only 4 receptions, but at least that chemistry is starting to build. So if you were patient with McLaurin, kudos. Very excited for what
you should not have dropped McLaurin. Hopefully everyone was patient enough to make it through 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Or trade him.
dude, it wouldn't shock me. I've seen some crazy drops this year already. And then Eckler is ruled out, I believe, already with the concussion.
He is.
So Brian Robinson to the moon. I mean, you're going to have the headache of Jaden Daniels taking stuff away from you in the run game, but Brian Robinson's good. I don't think Jeremy McNichols is going to come in and raise too much of a stink for you. And then Zach Ertz, honestly, is, 5 receptions for 38 yards. He's very usable for your tight end spot where everyone is
Who could have saw that coming?
currently. So, yeah. So, use everybody. Use everybody.
Stop.
I'm a big fan of Jaden Daniels. Like I know how have him everywhere, so like I'm just like in the bag for him already. But like, man, he's fun to watch.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't believe, but I had a league where people were drafting backup quarterbacks before I got my first one. I was gonna draft Jordan Love, and the guy with Patrick Mahomes drafted him before me, and then I went with Jaden Daniels, and I'm impressed. Color me impressed. Always loved the Commanders as it is. Honestly, like just a fun team to watch. Always had some great players. Weirdly, not a rival to me as an Eagles fan.
Yeah, I'm
Probably
pissed
because
I
they haven't
dropped
been
Trent
good
Brown
for my whole
last
entire
week.
fandom. Sorry, what you say, Joe?
I'm pissed that I dropped Trent Brown before last week. That was should have had him on my roster. So
Should have. Cardinals probably. Oh, I think we're all winners in this game.
We are all winners. This is the fantasy football game here. If you have a player here, you're going to score some points, which is cool. I'm actually going to pick, just to be contrary, I'm going to pick the Commanders. I think this game is going to be really close.
Yeah, I do too. I'm going to go Cardinals. I wish they would wear that black uniform all the time. That is so slick.
It is a dope uniform. Okay, next game on the docket is the Patriots versus the 49ers. I'll start with the Patriots. It's Ramondre and Hunter Henry in a pinch. That's all you got.
I almost even draw the line at Hunter Henry, but I get why you probably should.
With the tight end position is a hellscape, so you kind of have to play whichever one might get you 5 to 10 points this week in general.
All right, well, I'll go ahead and take care of the 49ers. Let's talk about the Juwan Jennings breakout. 175 yards and 11 catches. I just want to say Dallas Goedert did it in 10 catches, but he also didn't get that last 5 yards either. So he also didn't get 3 touchdowns. So Juwan Jennings, pretty good wide receiver. Who would have known that, playing behind some of the best stars for multiple years would make you a great receiver? Juwan Jennings is the only wide receiver I'm starting this week. And I say only because I am not in on Brandon Ayuk right now. I think that you, after 3 weeks, can and probably already should have replaced him in your lineup. Do not drop him. I'm not saying drop him. But let this man figure it out. He missed all of training camp, and he looks absolutely terrible. I'm sorry. He's dropping easy passes. I don't want to say lazy routes, but he just never seems to be like getting open like he usually does. He doesn't look sharp. He missed the whole camp, and it shows. Don't worry about the contract. It's going to be fine. He's a good receiver, but at the moment, I don't want to touch it. Jordan Mason, you already know he's the fill-in for McCaffrey, and he is the true heir to the throne of running for San Francisco. And then Brock Purdy is he can play. I don't want to start him if I don't have to, just because without Debo, without McCaffrey, the passing yards are going to be down. Obviously, last week was great, but it can be down weeks as well. And not to mention Mason could get all the touchdowns. So yes, play Purdy if you need to, but if you have better options, I'm always all about it.
I like it. I'm going to make the case for Ayuk this week.
Okay.
It's not a very factual case, but it's a reference to the fantasy football gods. Okay. So last week, oh my God, it's an Ayuk week, right? Debo's out, Kittle's out. This is perfect. And then Juwan Jennings absolutely goes nuclear. And so this week, everyone's going to start Juwan Jennings and bench Brandon Ayuk. And I just know, you think Shanahan has to be like, we got to get this guy going. We just paid him a ton of money. So I wouldn't be shocked, especially against the Patriots, if this isn't a game they try to get Brandon Ayuk going. But also the fantasy football gods are going to be like, screw you, all you Juwan Jennings starters. We're going to go with Ayuk this week. So
I think you're onto something there. And I would always, if I had Ayuk in any league, which I somehow don't, which is, fine for me at the moment. I would definitely hedge my bet and start him, but I don't because I just said all that, but I don't. So I'm not worried about it. So I guess it felt easier for me to say. like weight was lifted off my shoulders.
No, I feel like you made the absolute right call. I just think the universe.
I get what you're saying.
Serious players.
Because every time that happens, it seems to be the other guy the next week, and you're sitting there. And honestly, it's happened with Ayuk and Debo as well, where you're sitting like, oh man, Debo's the guy, and then like Ayuk took over for Debo, and then Debo took over for Ayuk. It's been a flip flop this whole time. But I do say with McCaffrey out, Debo's the number one play on that team, and then it looks like at the moment Ayuk's the third. So
yeah, DFS, I will have some tournament lineups with Ayuk in it this week for sure. And then I just want to bring up something else with the Patriots is get Drake May. If you're in a super flex, you're probably not getting him in Dynasty, but if you're in a season-long super flex, make a trade for Drake May right now and just stash him on your bench because that switch is going to happen. Jacoby Brissett is not it. The Patriots fans who are used to winning are not going to stand for this. They already shipped off Mac Jones, so Jacoby Brissett does not stand a chance here.
That's true. I think the only problem I think they have is that this O-line is just getting Jacoby beat up, and they just don't want that to happen to Drake May. So, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Gardaki's Playground says, give the ball to Mason. Yeah, that should just be the game plan. It should just be all running backs in this game.
Yeah, and if you don't have Mason, try to convince the person who has him in your league that Christian McCaffrey is coming back soon and you should trade him because people don't listen to the news and you might have a starter for the rest of the season.
He's eligible to return. He's eligible to return week 6. Let's
from Germany from getting his Achilles tendon looked at.
I said he's eligible. I'm trying to go along with what you just told me to tell people.
Yeah. No, I like it.
CMC
make that sales pitch and get Mason.
It's gonna be out for a while. That whole thing's scaring the shit out of me.
He's eligible.
He's eligible to go.
Him being in Germany is scaring the shit out of me as far as him coming back anytime soon. So I guess we'll see what happens. Whatever crazy thing they come up with over there, but man, that's scaring me.
Also, actually, no, hold on. Before we get through this, I just want to say, the longer and longer Christian McCaffrey goes without playing, the cheaper and cheaper he becomes. And if he does come back later in the year, he can win you a league. So I'm not saying do it. I don't condone trying to invest in the Christian McCaffrey, but it gets to week 7 and he's still not back. And that manager is just kind of like burning a hole in my bench and you can give him something nice.
I would be trading CMC right now for like some elite player that's actually playing football. So, I mean, that's just me personally though.
No, I agree. You sell CMC now, but you buy CMC later. I mean, at least for relatively cheaper.
That's true. Okay, on to the next game. Still in the 3:00 window. Browns versus the Raiders. This game is disgusting. Joe, is there any Brown other than Amari Cooper that you're wanting to play?
No, I mean, I'm assuming Njoku's out again. It would be amazing if he came back that quick from that injury. So assuming he's out, and then, Jerome Ford popped up with I believe it was an ankle injury. So Donta Foreman could absolutely be, was it a knee injury? Yeah. Donta Foreman could absolutely be a start. It's going to be a nasty game, but this Raiders defense sucks. So
I think you have to start Jerome Ford if he plays, honestly. I don't like it, but I think you have to.
Yeah. If he plays, if he doesn't play, Donta Foreman is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think you start the running back in this offense because they can't pass the ball. So therefore, they have to get something else going.
Yeah. I mean, Jerry Jeudy looks shitty as always. And I don't really know who else.
There's one guy you were absolutely right on, Joe.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Just to think that during that draft, we're thinking that Jerry Jeudy was going to be better than CeeDee Lamb. It's just comical to look back at, but that was the argument.
I picked Jeudy over Lamb in our draft. That's the reason you ended up with CeeDee Lamb, although long since traded.
That is also true. I don't know. A couple of true statements coming out there. As far as the Raiders go, this team is just not happy. It just seems like there's bad vibes all around. Gardner Minshew does not look good. He is not having as many pop off random good games as he's having just dog water games. So that's kind of concerning. I'd say Brock Bowers is probably the only bright spot on this team.
Trey Tucker.
I mean, Trey Tucker did fall in the end zone last week. That was kind of lucky, I guess. But they couldn't get anything going against the Panthers. That should kind of tell you all you need to know there. Gardner Minshew was benched in the game. AOC came out, which just I don't know. I'm trying to make anything good happen with this game. Jacoby Myers finally had a good game. Seems scary to start. Trey Tucker had a good game. Seems scary to start. And then Devontae Adams looks like he would rather be anywhere else in the world than playing for the Raiders right now.
But you have to play Devontae Adams.
Yeah, you do. He's still getting the targets. It's just the balls aren't catchable.
Yeah.
Is Madison a flex?
No. In Dynasty, he's a pickup. That's what happened the last couple
I just
weeks.
don't know, like how many more opportunities you give Zamir White? I don't.
I think they started bringing Labe in. I think Madison's role stays the same, and Labe takes over. I don't know how to pronounce it.
We're getting to 2025 where we can draft, I think, is what the Raiders' entire game plan is. Just get as many. I mean, who? That's the crazy thing about the Raiders. Who is even going to be on this team in the future? It's not Madison. It's not Zamir White. It's not Gardner Minshew. It's not Aiden O'Connell. It's not Devontae Adams. Like, I don't even know what they're building for in the future. Like, other than Brock Bowers, there's nothing on this team that
They got
you
Max
feel
Crosby.
good about. Yeah, well, okay, defense-wise, I guess they're building some decent pieces on that side of the ball. But on the offense, like, there's nobody on this offense that you could even think in Dynasty right now is going to be there in 2 years. Like, I would not – even like Jacoby Myers, like, I don't believe it. I don't think he's going to be there. I think they're building completely from scratch. It's nuts. Maybe
Christian
Trey
Wilkins
Tucker.
is not going to stick around if you keep. Yeah, Trey Tucker's a wide receiver one.
They're building their
Maybe
they're
Trey
building their
Tucker.
entire offense around Mayer and Brock Bowers. They have two
And Trey
amazing
Tucker,
tight
yeah.
ends. And Trey Tucker's also like on his third year though. I mean, like they have to
Yeah.
re-sign him too. Like
They
we're talking 2
they
years out
need
from being
a lot.
competitive at this point.
The Chiefs
think
just
this-
cut Keontae Ingram. I don't understand why they don't pick him up and try him at running back. Because
Yeah, the running back's probably the biggest issue because honestly, like I knew this team wasn't going to be good. Like we're not competitive. We're not winning the Super Bowl as a Raiders fan, but could hypothetically be, I don't know, like fantasy relevant players, like scoring points. Like we thought it would be like close games, like 6-10 team or something. We're looking more like a 3-13 team. Like, sorry, 14. My apologies. I'm adding that extra game that they added a couple years back to the loss column immediately.
They need to trade Devontae Adams and get picks to build
Pieces.
this team for next
Pieces.
year. Like Raiders, come on, just do what you need to do to make this team better next season. It's not with the players you have right now, so trade them.
are you more comfortable if Aiden O'Connell is announced a starter? Are we
No.
more comfortable?
No, I'm not
No.
comfortable with it at all.
Devontae was pretty effing solid with them last year. So
I don't
We
think
start
Devontae's
talking
going
about
to
how-
be there.
Do we start talking about how Shedeur Sanders goes to this team? Like, I just feel like we have to at least have the conversation at some point.
that is
We'll
the
have to-
perfect team for him to go
We'll
to.
see what Dion allows. That's
Yeah, I mean that should be an allowable team, right? Vegas. I mean,
I think
seems
so.
fun.
I think he gave out the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Falcons.
Yeah,
like,
he
it was
picked
like
all
4
teams that
teams.
had quarterbacks at the time, which was wild.
Yeah, it
Well,
was
maybe not
crazy.
the Falcons.
Anyway, just to get off this godforsaken game, God, I don't even know who wins. This is gonna be our
Browns.
tie. I'm gonna give it a tie.
I usually pick the defense, and that's why I would say the Browns because defense prevails. But I think this actually will be a closer like a
Defense
closer
hadn't even been
fight.
good. Cowboys lit them up for like 45 points.
Yeah. Okay, whatever, man. I don't care. But can we just talk about a different game?
Tie.
Tie.
we
All
agree.
right. America's game of the week is the Chiefs versus the Chargers because the Cowboys are on Thursday. So
Oh,
no
okay,
shot
got
to
it.
get them. No shot to get them this week. So the America's game of the week is the Chiefs Chargers. Joe, Charger. How do you feel about the Chargers?
Not good, Bob. I really don't. We just saw Bijan get kind of stood up by the Chiefs, so I don't think JK is going to do it, even though he's getting a ton of work and you are absolutely starting him. I don't think he's going to have a monster game for you. The Chiefs are getting destroyed by tight ends right now, so if you're feeling risky, you can flip a coin
Here we
between
go.
Hayden Hurst and Will Disley.
Oh Jesus!
I'm
Go for it.
thinking about doing it in the
Oh,
Scott Fish
oh,
Bowl, is
Jesus.
picking up Will Disley because I have Mark Andrews and Okonkwo. Like I don't have tight ends in that league. I'm thinking about putting Disley.
Yeah,
That's
well.
really sad.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a weird time. I mean, you can start Quentin Johnson. If you have to.
Okay, the whole
He
problem with
should
this
be
is
your, like,
Justin Herbert going to play? Because I'm not starting any of these guys if he's not playing.
Yeah, we don't know. We're recording this again on a Wednesday. Everyone out there, so we don't actually know yet for Herbert.
I don't know. Avoid the Chargers outside of J.K. Dobbins is
Just
my
for
best
real.
advice for it.
For
And
real.
Hayden Hurst / Will Disley.
But okay, let's say hypothetically Justin Herbert plays, you play QJ, you could pick your tight end special if you want to. And that's
QJ's like a wide receiver 4, though. At most.
Yeah, but he's getting touchdowns.
Herbert did
It's-
practice today, by the way.
Yeah, it's a Christian
Please win the team.
Watson thing right here, right? Like it's like he's getting touchdowns, so you could play him, but you're
Yeah.
kind of banking on that.
But when he gives you like 2 catches for 15 yards, you're not going to be shocked.
No, not at
Don't-
all.
Yeah.
On to the Chiefs. They're not looking great either, honestly. So Mahomes not having the powerhouse year that people who drafted him in the second round thought he would have. I'd say this should be a get right game for them. But honestly, like the Chargers have actually been playing pretty decent defense as well. So this is probably going to be another gritty 20-17 game. Carson Steele looks like the real deal. He's getting the full workload. Kareem Hunt is playing this week or is up on the team now at the moment. We don't know if he's playing, I guess. I can't say that. He's not on the practice squad anymore, so he might get some work. Rashee Rice is the one shining bright spot on this team. He is getting all the work. Worthy hasn't really flashed since that first big week. Kelsey has not flashed at all, and maybe this has something to do with him partying with his girlfriend all week, all summer long, but I don't know what it is.
And filming a movie and filming for a TV show that he hosted. Like this man did not do
And a
anything
podcast.
but work.
Yeah, so it's kind of showing right now on the stat sheet. And I hope it's not the end of Travis Kelce because honestly, I really like him, and I think everyone can just respect one of the best tight ends in the league to ever play. But at the moment, it is not looking great. So you still start him because it's Travis Kelce. You start Rashee Rice. You start Steele. You start Mahomes. After that, it's nothing. And just gotta put it in your mind that you might not be getting 30 points from all these guys anymore.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
And CEH also might be back this week, which ends a whole other wrench into the running back thing with P. Ryan also stealing touches. It's just a whole ass mess. But Steele does look like the one, at least for now.
For now,
Did Derwin's suspension, did he appeal that successfully or?
No, he got denied, so he's out for this game because it's the Chiefs. And
Oh,
He
that
was
makes
drafted to
sense.
stop
Don't worry.
Kelsey, so
there could be a Kelsey thing here, but it's hard to say that for sure because we thought that every weekend.
it hasn't happened yet.
I didn't even
Hasn't
think
happened
about
yet,
that.
so-
I didn't even think about that suspension coming while they're playing the Chiefs to make sure he doesn't take any dirty shots.
Oh, that's been a big conspiracy theory of like, of course it gets upheld. Of course it is. Like, yeah, it's been a big one.
I'm convinced that the Chiefs now just slow roll the season because they know they're going to get into the playoffs with that division, and then they turn it on. I mean,
Yeah,
which is
no,
honestly
I
a great strategy, but we need to
that's
start.
what I think Kelsey's doing.
I think
just
we need to start
killing.
factoring this into our draft strategies because this is the second year in a row we have seen them just pitter patter their way to the playoffs, and then.
Well, I mean, they're going to win the division anyway, but like at the same time, like they're probably going to end up being like the number 2 seed too, because it's the Chiefs. Like they're going to win most games because I mean, literally 3 games by penalty, one way or the other. Just it's pretty embarrassing for the NFL, honestly.
Yeah. Huge Chris Jones game, by the way. I'm calling it right now.
Fair enough.
The middle of that
Okay.
line cannot protect Justin Herbert.
The Chiefs win this game.
Yes.
Don't they always?
They always do. Okay, on to the Sunday night football game. We have Bills versus the Ravens. Josh, who are you starting on the Bills?
Josh Allen, for sure. I don't know if you guys know, but apparently he's really good. So yeah, as we said, I guess it was 4 touchdowns. I think I said 5 earlier, but 4 touchdowns to 4 different receivers. James Cook involved as well in the pass game and the run game. James Cook's the real deal. Top 5 running back, probably will be all year. Josh Allen, top 5 quarterback, maybe number 1 at the end of the season. After that, Shakir's getting the targets, I guess, the most. I'm not super excited about it. Coleman had some disciplinary action where he got benched because he missed a meeting or something. Kincaid, great to see him turn it on, except for the fact that I lost a game because of him. But love to see it all around. But yeah, it's Kincaid because the tight end's hellscape. Josh Allen, James Cook, and then Shakir as a flex if you need. Keon Coleman, I'm still waiting on. Do not drop him because there's still flashes here. And if he ever does get, 8-9 targets, but it really looks like Josh Allen's just going to be separating this ball as much as possible.
For sure. It happens like that sometimes. On to Baltimore. Lamar is a start. Derrick Henry has awoken from his slumber. First week, 13 for 46. Second week, 18 for 84. This last week, 25 for 151 and 2 touchdowns. Welcome back, Derrick Henry. Bijan Robinson could never. Just kidding. I wouldn't even bring that back up. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Zay Flowers is an obvious start on this team. He seems to be the only consistent pass catcher going right now. Not that he's getting a ton of targets to prove that, like the last game, 3 for 20. They ain't going to win games doing that. So John Harbaugh decided to come out and tell us that he's going to platoon the tight ends. He said it is going to be a rotation of tight ends between Mark Andrews, likely, and Charlie Kohler. And I cannot be more upset with this man doing this to us. Just give us who it's going to be. We don't need to do this. It's just frustrating.
Okay. No. Time out. 2 targets between Likely and Mark Andrews last week where they threw 1,000 times. I know that's not a correct number, but like how?
They threw like 12 times last week.
Did they? Against the Cowboys?
Against the Cowboys, they completed
their whole game plan was to send Derrick Henry directly up the middle every single time, and that's what they did. And
15 times, but yeah, I mean, still though, you'd think that I don't know, 5 of those would have been to their 2 tight ends, in my opinion, but I guess not.
I don't know, man. Andrews is a buy low for me. I'm just gonna go ahead with the state of tight ends right now.
Well, it's not like Likely's taking the job either, right? Like, I mean, it's not like he had
there is no job to take. It's a 3-man job that they have one job, but 3 people are doing it. It's the worst position in the world for you to be in, having one of these guys, because you're never going to know which one's going to play and be well that week. But I guess we'll just have to see. It kind of depends on the game plan. So I guess going against the Bills, you're just going to have to hope and pray that the one you put out there is actually going to be good. But I'm out on all these tight ends going into this week.
Well, they got to throw against the Cowboys. I feel like you got to play them if you have Mark Andrews and if you have Likely as your starting.
Against the Bills, yes, they have to throw. But the thing is, you're not going to know which one it's going to be. That's what I'm saying. Like, it could be Charlie Kohler. It could be Likely. It could be Andrews.
We all have the use check moments, the, Mike Tolbert moments. I mean, they're going to happen, unfortunately. Charlie Kohler is the new Mike Tolbert is what we're hearing here.
Yeah, he's one of the usable tight ends on this team, apparently. So, anyway, I'm just going Zay Flowers, Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson. If you have another tight end, please put him in there.
Yeah. Khalil Shakir is an awesome possum for me this week. And to quote Edgar Allan Poe, the Ravens' passing defense is nevermore. So play Khalil Shakir. He has the highest target share of anybody on that team. So keep it up.
That was deep, Joe.
Yeah. That was deep. I'm going with the Bills because they have the literal undead patrolling in their secondary, and it scared the shit out of Trevor Lawrence. And I'm good with it. Go for it.
I didn't know they would put an arc reactor into DeMar Hamlin. Like, that was crazy. He's become something else. Crazy.
All right.
On to the Monday. Well, I figure you're going to pick the game, Josh, but all right, we'll just move on. On to the Monday Night Football games, because there's 2. It's ridiculous, but here we are. We'll get to the lesser of the 2, which is the Titans versus the Dolphins. Josh, is there anybody on this Dolphins team that you feel good about this week?
It depends solely on who the quarterback is. If Huntley plays, yes, I feel a lot better about it. Tyreek Hill, you have to play, unfortunately, no matter what. This Tua injury is hurting no one more than Tua's head and Tyreek Hill. So this is the two people. Waddle was already kind of Waddle is not playing if Huntley's not. If basically Hill's startable no matter what. If Huntley plays, Waddle's startable. What we have here about Hill, A-Chain, you have to play for sure. And then that's it, right? I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sadly, but yeah.
I would love to see Huntley in this offense because what we saw from him in Baltimore was amazing. So I would love to see him utilize these weapons because Skylar Thompson did not do it. And he also could not take his jersey off because he had a chest injury so bad after last game. So At least that's the report. So I imagine he's not playing. So Huntley needs to learn that offense real fast.
For sure. On to the Tennessee Titans. Joe, how do you feel about the Titans this week?
Oh, the Titans. I love DeAndre Hopkins this week. I think that what they're going to try to do, I think it's going to be a close game. So the running backs, Tyjae Spears and Pollard, are both very startable for me. And that's roughly it. I'm not digging into this one too much.
Hopkins is starting to come on though, man. I'm excited about it. Excited to see it.
Yeah, speaking of overreactions, I picked DeAndre Hopkins up in the league.
Oh wow.
For like no fab either. It's just like
That's amazing.
That's crazy.
I get that he's old, but I don't know. By the way, trade for Tyreek Hill. Just go out and get Tyreek Hill because the consensus seems to be take whatever you want for him. Like take anything for him. And I think that is a huge mistake.
Yeah. No, I don't hate that. I've heard the rumor. I don't know if you all have seen it, but did y'all know Calvin Ridley plays for the Titans? I had no idea. Like that kind of surprised me when I heard that. Some of these guys, they switch teams and you just don't even notice or know to them on the team. So
I'm sorry, you being facetious?
No, literally, I thought he was still in the Jaguars, but that's been such a disaster. I haven't noticed he wasn't there either. So like
I only knew because I have Hopkins, Ridley, and Tyler Boyd in the league, and all three of them are on the same team now, and they were not last year.
Woof.
I did technically know that he was on the Titans, but
I thought you were
he
just being
hasn't
funny.
really, I don't think his plan has landed yet, to be honest.
If Huntley plays, the Dolphins win.
Yeah, 100%. Also, back to Hopkins, just saying they slow played him the first 2 weeks. Week 3, he actually got a relatively full workload. So honestly, like Joe said, got him for free and free agency, which is wild. But like, go try to acquire Hopkins too. I think he's on the block right now for most people.
For sure.
Yeah. Everyone hates those old wide receivers, man.
Mm-hmm.
They sure do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Dolphins just win no matter what, honestly.
Okay, that's
like
fair. I mean, Will Levis is fun to watch because you just never know what's going to happen. Every play, he's just doing something that's like, oh my God, I can't believe he did that. So that's always fun to watch. Yeah. On to the last game on the slate. It is actually a fun one on Monday night, and that is the Seahawks versus the Detroit Lions. I will take the Seahawks. Look, if Ken Walker is back, which I don't think he's going to be, but if he's back, play him. If he's not, it's another Charbonnet week. Charbonnet has actually figured out how to be useful in this offense. It is kind of dependent on a touchdown, but at the same time, I do think that he is figuring something out, and I've liked him. DK Metcalf came on this week. Geno Smith seems to finally have figured out how to actually play in this offense. After the first 2 weeks, we're like, oh, this is supposed to be pass happy, and it wasn't. And then now I think we finally have figured it out. So I like DK. I like Jackson Smith and Jigba. It was a little slow last week, but I think this week he bounces back. And then while Tyler Lockett seems like a good play, I think this week he's probably not going to be as useful.
Yeah, and so fun fact, my parents will actually be at this game. My dad tried to invite me to this game, but I don't have any PTO, and I had to tell him whenever he bought the tickets that I will not be able to do it. So the Lions on the other side will be looking pretty good, hopefully. Jared Goff, start him if you need him. I don't really love what he's done so far stat wise. Obviously, the run game has been the featured preferred method, I guess, of getting yardage. So David Montgomery, huge week last week. Gonna have another probably good one here. And then Gibbs, they're both literally performing at the same level. So it's amazing to see. Not a lot of teams could make two fantasy relevant running backs, but it is Detroit Lions. Amon-Ra, after week 1, dud, looks great and is back in action. You were never sitting him, so you're always going to start him. And then Laporta dealing with a low ankle sprain, which is good news because it's not a high ankle, but at the same time might be out this week. And that means the only other option to start on the offense is Jameson Williams. And yes, bad week last week, not going to be a regular thing for him. So look forward to this game. This game is going to be amazing.
Yeah, we need at least one good one on Monday.
If Laporta plays, he gets a touchdown.
Yeah, I think if Laporta plays, you play him for sure. Sorry, I didn't think I needed to say that. He's the number 1 tight end drafted.
I was just putting good vibes out there. And then DK Metcalf is going to have a monster game. And I'm just going to go out on a ledge and say sit Ken Walker completely because the Lions are a horrible matchup, and we aren't going to know if he's going to play until Monday night unless he starts practicing soon. So
that would be nice to know. But yeah, it definitely seems like if you have a different option, you might utilize it. Just not knowing whether he's going to play or not. Don't want another CMC disaster because you're going to have to play Kenny McIntosh, and nobody wants to play Kenny McIntosh in a pinch.
I can't believe the 49ers didn't just come out right and say that McCaffrey's not playing and really did that slow play. Has anything happened with that, by the way? Like
no, he
fines
didn't get
or anything?
penalized. No
Wild.
penalty. Yeah, that's the world we live in. But yeah, and now he's in Germany, so it seems like they probably knew ahead of time he wasn't going to play. But it won them a game, so that's all that matters, right? They beat the Jets that week because
Is that the bad juju they've been having, and that's why they're falling off a cliff because they?
You know, that could actually be it. It could be because they did that this is happening for them.
Karma's a bitch.
I think
It is.
Lions win.
I want to go with the home team here as well.
I'm going to go Seahawks, baby. In Grubb we
Seahawks?
trust.
Seahawks are good. I don't know how it's working forever, but I like the Seahawks. Good team. All right, well, that wraps week 4. I can't believe we're already on to week 5 next week. Guys, any last minute thoughts here going into the weekend?
I actually do have a thought I needed to get off my chest. I'm glad you asked.
Okay.
So when you're in a public restroom, it is not appropriate to have a discussion while you're peeing. Like, just either wait to the sink or, be like, hey man, hey, nice to see you. You don't need to have a conversation. Like, like your hands are on your genitals.
Do you know the person or it's a stranger?
Yeah. You know the person. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything. It can be a stranger. It could be if you walked into the bathroom with your friend, sure. But I'm talking about in a workspace, in a public place where you happen to go to the bathroom, someone just starts talking to you. You don't need to have a conversation while we're doing our thing. We can wait to the sink, or we could just say a nice, hey, how you doing? You know what I mean? And then we're using the restroom. We got it. I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate everything.
I mean, if one of you was in the bathroom, I probably would say something.
No. That's different. We're talking about friends.
If it's a work or an acquaintance, don't talk to me. Especially don't pat me on the back either. That's another one. It's like, hey,
Please
what's up?
And it's like,
no,
don't
do that.
Definitely
And I think I would start swinging, honestly.
no
Crossing
touching
the line there.
What if
Crossing
someone's
the line.
washing their hands and the other person's peeing?
I don't love it. I don't love it. That's still awkward to me. Like, I don't want to do it. Like, I'm not going to ever be the person that's like, oh yeah, man. Hey, how is that project going? Or hey, how is the wife and kids? While you're peeing or while I'm peeing and you're at the sink. It's either way. You should just not be having those
You
conversations.
definitely don't talk about the wife and kids. That's fucked up.
I meant in a good way, but
I mean,
still
like,
really
I'm pretty sure I'd be like, hey, the Packers suck. While I was peeing.
Yeah, like I said, brief comments, not conversations.
Okay. I think that's fair.
Sorry, I needed to get it off my chest.
No, I think it needs to be said. Yeah, I think it needs to be said. Definitely don't touch somebody on the
Definitely
back.
don't. I didn't even think that was
Definitely
even
don't touch anybody any spot, especially if it's like a trough situation. No, just stand as far away as possible. Don't touch me.
Oh, did you remember the SEMO troughs? Oh, those were great.
Yeah, I know. I mean, any bar where they just pour a entire big bag of ice in the trough and then just let everybody go to town, like that bar is, they're hurting.
It's a good bar when you go to that.
And respect it. Well, good in different ways, I suppose.
Respect a good trough.
I think every year have ice in it because it's fun to melt it. I mean,
it is fun to melt it.
Gives you something to aim at.
It's like a game.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many cubes can I melt today?
All
That's
right.
fun.
Let's go another different direction.
All right. Yeah. Okay, Joe. I guess with all that being said, get us out of here.
Good night.
Joe, glad you're back, man.